Alright guys, so here's a little history lesson. So today I'm going to be giving a history lesson on the history of what is called the dead man's hand. Like in the description, like I said in the video description, the dead man's hand consists of a two pair poker hand of aces and eights. And like I said, this is a history lesson that American school children won't learn in school. And the story and when this guy comes up from behind, this gangster comes from behind Hickok, and just goes and shoots him. And it's shot, and this gangster shoots Wild Bill Hickok. And then when Wild Bill Hickok's bloody cards are revealed, it's aces. The most popular version of the legend says it's aces and eights. And basically, like I said, that's the most popular version of the legend, of the Dead Man's Hand legend. But like I said in the video description, the legend actually varies. The legend actually varies depending on which historian you ask. But this right here is the most popular version of the legend. So, and like I said, this is a piece of history that American school children won't. That if you're an American school child, you're basically not going to learn about the dead man's hand in American school textbooks. Or basically, I should say, they don't teach you about the dead man. From what I remember, they don't teach you about the dead man's hand in American history textbooks. So, this is a really if you're a big history buff like I am, this is really interesting. The Dead Man's Hand is a really interesting piece of history that is basically not taught in American history textbooks. So, you'll never see the Dead Man's Hand being, like I said, you'll never see the Dead Man's Hand being taught. You'll never see any American history teacher or American history professor talking about the Dead Man's Hand, because it's never taught in America. It's never taught in school. So this is just, so basically, if you're ever at home, just playing a game of like Texas Hold, if you're ever at home with your buddies, playing a game of poker with your buddies, and you're unlucky enough to get the aces, and you're ever unlucky enough to get the aces and eight, a two-pair hand consisting of aces and eights, now you know what it means. It was basically in urban legends concerning the Wild West, in urban legends concerning the Wild in Wild West folklore, aces and eights is in Wild West folklore, in urban legends and folklore concerning the Wild West. The aces and eight, the two-pair poker hand of aces and eights, is the lawman James Butler Wild Bill Hickok is believed to have had when he was murdered by a gangster in Deadwood, South Dakota. So now you know. Like I said, now you know. If you're ever at home playing, if you're ever at home playing